What if every night, when you close your eyes and drift into sleep, you're not just dreaming random fragments of memory and imagination, but actually possibly glimpsing into the life of another version of yourself? A version living in a parallel universe where you made different choices, took different paths, experienced different outcomes. Recent groundbreaking research suggests that consciousness might operate through quantum processes that could theoretically allow some people to interpret dreams as alternate realities. Tonight we're exploring one of the most fascinating questions at the intersection of neuroscience and quantum physics. Could your dreams be interpreted as windows into parallel versions of your life? Welcome to another journey through the mysteries that lie at the edge of our understanding. I'm here to guide you through a question that challenges everything we think we know about the nature of consciousness, reality, and the strange theatre of dreams that plays out behind our closed eyelids each night. Before we begin this exploration together, take a moment to settle in. Whether you're listening in the quiet hours of evening or finding a peaceful space in your day, allow yourself to drift into a state of open curiosity. What we're about to explore might sound like science fiction, but it's grounded in real research being conducted by physicists, neuroscientists, and consciousness researchers around the world. To understand how dreams might connect us to parallel universes, we first need to explore the quantum foundation that some scientists believe underlies consciousness itself. This isn't about mystical thinking or wishful speculation, and it's important to note this remains unproven, but rather about following the implications of quantum mechanics to their most intriguing conclusions. In 2024, revolutionary research published by physicists at Shanghai University made a startling discovery. They found evidence that many entangled photons can be generated inside the myelin sheath that covers nerve fibers in our brains. Think about that for a moment. The fatty coating around our nerve cells might actually serve as a kind of biological quantum chamber, where pairs of photons become entangled and create instantaneous connections across vast distances. This discovery could explain something that has puzzled neuroscientists for decades: how neural synchronization occurs so rapidly in the brain. Traditional models suggest that nerve signals travel below the speed of sound, far too slow to account for the lightning-fast coordination we observe in conscious experience. But if entangled photons are facilitating communication between neurons, suddenly the speed of consciousness makes sense. Dr. Hartmut Neven, a leading quantum AI researcher at Google, has proposed something even more extraordinary. He suggests that consciousness itself might be the mechanism by which we experience one specific branch of the infinite multiverse predicted by quantum mechanics. According to Neven's theory, entanglement between quantum particles in the brain creates a unified conscious experience, binding together what would otherwise be separate quantum states into a coherent sense of self. But here's where it gets truly fascinating. If consciousness operates through quantum entanglement, and if quantum mechanics suggests that every possible outcome of every quantum event creates a new branch of reality, then perhaps our sleeping minds, freed from the constraints of sensory input and logical processing, might occasionally seem to tune into the quantum frequencies of these other branches. As you listen to this idea, notice how it might resonate with your own experience of dreams. Have you ever had a dream so vivid, so emotionally real, that it stayed with you for days? A dream where you were living a completely different life, making choices you've never made, experiencing relationships or careers that feel foreign to your waking self, yet strangely familiar. The theoretical foundation for parallel universe dreams rests on what physicists call the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics. First proposed by Hugh Everett III in 1957, this interpretation suggests that every quantum measurement or interaction causes the universe to split into multiple parallel realities, each corresponding to a different possible outcome. Imagine, if you will, that at every moment of every day, countless quantum events are occurring throughout the universe. Each time a particle's spin is measured, each time a photon passes through or bounces off a surface, each time any quantum system interacts with its environment, reality branches. In one branch, the particle spins up. In another, it spins down. Both outcomes are equally real, equally valid, but they exist in separate, non-communicating worlds. Now scale this up to the level of human decision-making and life experiences. Every choice you've ever made, every path you've taken or not taken, might have created a branching point in reality. Somewhere, according to this interpretation, there's a version of you who chose a different career, moved to a different city, married a different person, or never married at all. These alternate versions aren't just possibilities, they're actualities, living their own complete lives in parallel universes. David Leong, an honorary professor at Charisma University, has proposed that when we sleep and dream, our consciousness might be in the least contact with logical brain processes and physical sensory input. In this state of reduced cognitive filtering, some interpretations suggest that consciousness might become sensitive to quantum entanglements that connect us to these parallel versions of ourselves, although this idea is speculative. Consider the nature of recurring dreams for a moment. We've all experienced them, those persistent nighttime narratives that return again and again, often with surprising consistency and emotional intensity. Leong suggests that recurring vivid dreams with strong emotions and memories might be the ones most likely to connect us to alternate versions in parallel worlds, according to speculative interpretations. He offers this compelling example. Say you have a repetitive dream of being stuck in high school. While it may reflect unresolved psychological themes, such as feelings of stagnation or anxiety about personal growth, it could also indicate that in another reality, you're still in high school, dealing with the same challenges your waking self has moved beyond. The emotional resonance of these dreams is particularly intriguing. According to this speculative framework, strong emotions in persistent dreams could offer what researchers call cosmic clues, signals of how another version of you is experiencing life in a parallel world. The theory proposes that this emotional resonance, like the frustration of being stuck or the joy of unexpected success, could ripple across dimensions, creating a feedback loop between your conscious mind here and one of your alternate selves elsewhere. Though this is not scientifically verified, but how could such connections actually work in the brain? Recent advances in neuroscience are revealing that consciousness during sleep operates with remarkable sophistication, potentially supporting theories of interdimensional awareness, though such theories remain unproven. Lucid dreaming research has provided some of the most compelling evidence for the complexity of dream consciousness. In lucid dreams, people become aware that they're dreaming while still maintaining the dream state. They can often control their actions, make deliberate choices, and even communicate with researchers through predetermined eye movements or facial muscle contractions. For the first time in history, researchers have successfully conducted conversations with lucid dreamers, asking them novel questions and math problems while they sleep. Across 4 different laboratories involving 36 participants, scientists asked 158 questions of sleeping dreamers. Remarkably, the dreamers responded correctly 18.6% of the time, far above what would be expected by chance. Even more intriguingly, some dreamers remembered these interactions as part of their dream narratives. One participant reported that math problems came through a car radio in their dream. Another was at a party when they heard the researcher's voice interrupting like a narrator in a movie, asking if they spoke Spanish. This research demonstrates that the dreaming mind can receive, process, and respond to complex external information while maintaining the dream state. If consciousness can bridge the gap between the dream world and waking reality in this way, some interpretations suggest it might also bridge gaps between parallel realities, though no scientific consensus supports this idea. The neuroscience becomes even more fascinating when we examine what's happening in the brain during these experiences. Various imaging studies have shown that many parts of the brain important for memory formation are particularly active during sleep. During REM sleep, when most vivid dreams occur, areas related to emotional memory and motor control show heightened activity. The activation of these systems creates what researchers call a dissociated state, combining hallucinatory dream activity with wake-like reflective awareness. Take a breath and imagine what this could mean for you. Think about your most memorable dreams, the ones that felt more real than reality itself. Could these experiences represent moments when your consciousness briefly synchronized with the quantum frequencies of a parallel self? This remains a speculative interpretation rather than an established conclusion. Perhaps the most extraordinary development in dream research has been the achievement of direct communication between people during dream states. The company REM Space has pioneered technology that allows 2 individuals to successfully exchange simple messages while both are lucid dreaming. Using specially designed equipment, researchers created a scenario where 2 dreamers could communicate across the boundary of sleep. Their CEO, Michael Raduga, declared, "Yesterday, communicating in dreams seemed like science fiction. Tomorrow, it will be so common we won't be able to imagine our lives without this technology." This breakthrough follows nearly 5 years of rigorous research and technological development. Since achieving the first communication within lucid dreams on September 24, 2024, researchers have been continuously refining their technology. They've even progressed to allowing dreamers to control physical objects, like remote-controlled cars, directly from within their dreams. If consciousness can transcend the boundaries of individual minds during sleep, reaching across the gap between separate dreamers, then some interpretations suggest it might also reach across the much more subtle boundaries between parallel versions of the same consciousness. Though this remains entirely speculative, the implications are staggering to contemplate. If our dreaming minds can connect to alternate realities, even hypothetically, then every night becomes an opportunity to glimpse the paths not taken, to experience the choices we didn't make, to understand the full spectrum of who we might have become. One of the most compelling pieces of circumstantial evidence for dream connections to parallel realities comes from the mysterious phenomenon of Deja vu. We've all experienced that eerie feeling of having lived a moment before, even when we know logically that we haven't. Neuroscience research using functional MRI scans has revealed something surprising about deja vu. When people experience this strange sense of familiarity, the brain areas involved in memory, like the hippocampus, don't show the activity patterns we'd expect if the feeling was linked to an actual memory. Instead, the active areas are those involved in decision-making and conflict resolution. Researchers interpret this to mean that déjà vu occurs when the frontal regions of the brain attempt to correct what they perceive as an inaccurate memory. It's as if our brains are saying, "Something about this situation feels familiar, but I can't find the memory that would explain why." But what if that familiar feeling isn't a glitch in memory processing? What if it's an echo from a parallel reality where we actually did experience that exact moment? Some people report that their déjà vu experiences feel connected to their dreams, as though they're recognizing a scene they visited in sleep. There's no scientific evidence supporting this interpretation, but the subjective experience raises fascinating questions. If consciousness can access parallel realities through dreams, then déjà vu might represent moments when our waking experience briefly aligns with memories from an alternate timeline, at least according to some speculative interpretations. Consider your own experiences with déjà vu. Does it sometimes feel like you're remembering a dream? Does the familiar sensation carry with it not just recognition, but a sense that you've been there before in a different context, perhaps a nighttime context where the rules of reality were more fluid? As we continue this exploration, we're approaching some of the most speculative territory in consciousness research, but sometimes the most profound truths hide in the spaces between what we can prove and what we can imagine. The boundary between dreams and parallel realities may be one of those liminal spaces where science and wonder converge. In our next segment, we'll delve deeper into the specific characteristics of dreams that might indicate parallel universe connections, exploring the recurring narratives, evolving storylines, and persistent characters that seem to live independent lives in our sleeping minds. We'll also examine the cultural and historical perspectives that have long recognized dreams as gateways to other realms of existence. The question remains tantalizingly open. When you dream tonight, will you simply be processing the day's memories? Or will you be visiting another version of yourself in a reality where your story unfolded differently? The answer might lie in paying closer attention to the details of your dream experience and the strange persistence of certain nighttime narratives that seem to exist beyond the boundaries of your waking life. As we venture deeper into this exploration, let's examine the specific characteristics that might distinguish ordinary dreams from potential glimpses into parallel realities. Not every dream carries the hallmarks of interdimensional experience, but certain patterns emerge that researchers find particularly intriguing. Consider the phenomenon of sequential dreams, those remarkable experiences where your sleeping mind returns night after night to the same dreamscape, continuing a narrative that evolves over time. These aren't simple recurring dreams that replay the same scenario, but rather ongoing stories with character development, plot progression, and a sense of lived continuity that extends beyond any single night's rest. Some dreamers report returning to familiar dream locations that feel more real than their waking environments. They describe detailed cities with consistent geography, buildings they can navigate from memory, and relationships with dream characters who seem to have their own independent lives and personalities. These dream personas don't simply represent aspects of the dreamer's psyche, but appear to exist as autonomous beings with their own motivations, histories, and emotional depths. One particularly compelling case involves a dreamer who has spent decades visiting what she describes as her other home, a Victorian house in a landscape that doesn't exist in our reality. In these dreams, she maintains relationships with family members who have different names, different personalities, and different histories than her waking family. The house itself has accumulated memories over the years, rooms that have been renovated in the dream world, furniture that has been rearranged, photographs on the walls that chronicle a parallel life's progression. What makes these sequential dreams so fascinating is their internal consistency. The dream world maintains its own logic, its own continuity, its own sense of time passing independently of the dreamer's waking life. When the dreamer returns to this Victorian house, months or even years might have passed in dream time, with corresponding changes to the environment and relationships. Some interpretations suggest that this consistency and independence could indicate that the dreamer is interpreting the experience as accessing a genuine alternate reality rather than simply constructing an elaborate fantasy. After all, how could the unconscious mind maintain such detailed, evolving narratives across such extended periods without some external source of information? The emotional authenticity of these experiences provides another compelling dimension. Dreams that some people interpret as parallel universe connections often carry emotional weight that feels distinctly different from ordinary dream emotions. The feelings experienced in these dreams don't fade upon waking like typical dream emotions do. Instead, they linger, creating a sense of loss or longing for a life that feels genuinely lived, not merely imagined. Take a moment to reflect on your own dream experiences. Have you ever awakened from a dream feeling a profound sense of grief for a life you were forced to leave behind? Not the abstract sadness of losing something you never had, but the concrete heartache of being separated from relationships, places, and experiences that felt as real as any memory from your waking life. To understand how consciousness might theoretically access parallel realities during sleep, we need to explore the unique neurological state that occurs when we dream. The sleeping brain creates what researchers describe as a metaphorical quantum theatre, a biological environment where the normal rules of conscious experience become dramatically altered. During REM sleep, several fascinating changes occur in brain activity. The prefrontal cortex, which normally provides logical filtering and reality testing, becomes significantly less active. Meanwhile, areas associated with visual processing, emotional memory, and motor control show heightened activity. This creates what neuroscientists call a dissociated state, where consciousness operates without the usual constraints of logical thoughts and sensory input. In this altered state, some interpretations suggest that consciousness might become more sensitive to quantum-level phenomena. Without the constant interference of sensory data and logical processing, the subtle quantum processes that some speculative theories propose underlie consciousness could potentially detect or interact with quantum fields from parallel realities. This remains highly speculative, but the theoretical framework is intriguing. If consciousness operates through quantum entanglement, as some researchers propose, then the reduced neural activity during sleep might allow for quantum connections that are normally overwhelmed by the noise of waking cognition. Recent experiments in quantum biology have revealed that biological systems can indeed maintain quantum coherence under certain conditions. Photosynthesis in plants, navigation in birds, and even some enzymatic processes appear to utilize quantum effects. While the brain operates in a much warmer, noisier environment than these other biological quantum systems, some researchers speculate that the unique conditions of sleep might create windows where quantum coherence becomes possible. Dr. Stuart Hameroff, an anesthesiologist and consciousness researcher, has proposed that microtubules within neurons might serve as quantum processing units. During sleep, when metabolic activity decreases and neural noise is reduced, these microtubular structures might theoretically enter quantum coherent states that could, under some interpretations, connect to quantum fields beyond the individual brain. This is purely speculative territory, but it provides a potential mechanism by which consciousness might hypothetically access information from parallel realities. The key insight is that sleep creates a neurological environment unlike any other state of consciousness, one where the ordinary boundaries of individual awareness might become more permeable. As you consider this possibility, notice how it might reframe your understanding of sleep itself. Rather than viewing dreams as mere neurological housekeeping or random memory processing, you might begin to see sleep as a nightly journey into expanded states of consciousness, where the boundaries between self and universe become fluid. If dreams are sometimes interpreted as connecting us to parallel realities, we might expect these experiences to have certain linguistic and symbolic characteristics that distinguish them from ordinary dreams. Researchers studying this phenomenon, though it remains unproven, have identified several patterns that appear consistently in what people describe as their most reality-like dream experiences. One striking feature is the presence of unknown knowledge in dreams. Dreamers report learning information they couldn't have known in their waking lives, then discovering later that this information corresponds to real facts, historical events, or scientific principles they had never encountered. While this could be explained by forgotten memories or coincidence, some cases involve such specific, verifiable details that alternative explanations become intriguing. A particularly compelling example involves a dreamer who found herself in what appeared to be a 19th century laboratory, working alongside a scientist she didn't recognize. In the dream, they discussed a specific chemical process for creating a particular type of glass. Upon waking, she researched the process and discovered it was a real historical technique used during that exact time period, involving methods and materials she had never studied or encountered in any book, documentary, or educational setting. Another characteristic of potential parallel universe dreams is the presence of anachronistic elements that make perfect sense within the dream context. Dreamers might find themselves using technology that doesn't exist in our reality but functions logically and consistently within the dream world. These aren't fantastical impossibilities, but rather practical innovations that feel like natural extensions of current technology. The emotional tone of these dreams also differs markedly from ordinary dream experiences. Rather than the often chaotic, rapidly shifting emotions typical of most dreams, potential parallel universe dreams tend to maintain emotional consistency throughout the experience. The dreamer feels genuinely connected to the dream relationships, genuinely invested in the dream goals, and genuinely affected by the dream outcomes in ways that persist long after waking. Perhaps most intriguingly, these dreams often include what researchers call verification elements, details that can be checked against waking reality. Dreamers report seeing newspapers with specific dates and headlines, encountering historical figures in contexts that can be researched, or visiting locations with architectural details that correspond to real places they've never seen. While these verification elements don't prove the parallel universe hypothesis, they do suggest that whatever mechanism creates these dreams has access to information beyond the dreamer's conscious knowledge. Whether this information comes from forgotten memories, unconscious pattern recognition, or something more extraordinary remains an open question. Take a breath and consider whether you've experienced dreams with these characteristics. Have you ever dreamed of places you've never been, but that felt more familiar than your own neighborhood? Have you encountered people in dreams who seem to know you intimately, despite being complete strangers to your waking life? Have you learned things in dreams that surprised you with their specificity and accuracy? One of the most emotionally compelling aspects of potential parallel universe dreams involves the relationships that develop within these alternate realities. Unlike typical dream characters that often represent aspects of the dreamer's psyche, the people encountered in sequential, reality-like dreams seem to possess genuine autonomy and continuity. These dream relationships often span decades of dream time, developing with the same complexity and depth as waking relationships. Dreamers report watching dream children grow up, experiencing the aging of dream spouses, and maintaining friendships that evolve naturally over years of dream encounters. The emotional bonds formed in these dreams can become as meaningful and significant as any relationship in waking life. What makes these relationships particularly intriguing is their independence from the dreamer's conscious expectations or desires. Dream partners might disagree with the dreamer, surprise them with unexpected reactions, or demonstrate personality traits that seem to emerge organically rather than being projected by the dreaming mind. These characters maintain their own opinions, their own emotional responses, and their own life trajectories that don't always align with what the dreamer might consciously prefer. Some dreamers describe experiencing genuine grief when dream relationships end through death, separation, or simply the inability to return to that particular dream reality. The loss feels as real as any bereavement in waking life, suggesting that these connections operate on deeper levels of consciousness than ordinary dream experiences. The consistency of these relationships provides another compelling element. Dream partners retain memories of previous dream encounters, referencing shared experiences and continuing conversations from earlier dream meetings. They demonstrate knowledge of the dreamer's dream life that extends beyond any single dream episode, creating a sense of ongoing relationship continuity that spans multiple sleep cycles. If you enjoy drifting through these explorations without interruption, members get every episode 48 hours early, completely ad-free. You can join them whenever you feel ready. These ongoing investigations into consciousness and reality become even more immersive when experienced without breaks, allowing you to sink deeper into the contemplative space where wonder and possibility converge. Consider the implications of maintaining meaningful relationships across multiple realities. If these dream connections represent symbolic or imagined interactions with parallel versions of people you know, or entirely different individuals existing in alternate timelines, then every night becomes an opportunity to experience love, friendship, and human connection in ways that transcend the boundaries of a single reality. The idea that dreams serve as gateways to other realms isn't new to human culture. Long before quantum mechanics provided a theoretical framework for parallel realities, indigenous traditions, ancient spiritual systems, and mystical practices recognized dreams as portals to expanded states of consciousness and alternate dimensions of existence. Native American traditions viewed dreams as sacred spaces where consciousness could step outside the bounds of ordinary existence and connect with universal awareness. Dreamers were believed to travel to other worlds, communicate with spirits, and access knowledge unavailable to waking consciousness. These traditions developed sophisticated practices for dream navigation, teaching individuals how to maintain awareness during dreams and interact consciously with alternate realities. Hindu philosophy, as expressed in the Upanishads and other sacred texts, described multiple layers of reality accessible through different states of consciousness. The dream state, called swapna, was understood as one of 4 primary levels of awareness, each providing access to different aspects of cosmic truth. Advanced practitioners learn to navigate these dream realms deliberately, using them for spiritual insight and expanded understanding. Ancient Egyptian culture elevated dream interpretation to an art form, with professional dream priests serving as intermediaries between the dream world and waking reality. They believed that during sleep, the soul could travel to other dimensions, communicate with deities, and gather information about past and future events. Egyptian burial practices often included provisions for the deceased's dream journey, suggesting they viewed dream consciousness as surviving bodily death. These ancient perspectives align remarkably with modern quantum interpretations of consciousness and parallel realities. While ancient cultures lacked our scientific vocabulary, they recognized the same fundamental possibility that consciousness might transcend the boundaries of individual awareness and access information from beyond ordinary reality. The convergence of ancient wisdom and modern physics creates a fascinating dialogue between spiritual intuition and scientific speculation. Both traditions suggest that consciousness operates according to principles that extend far beyond the materialist assumptions of conventional neuroscience. Modern dream research is beginning to validate some aspects of these ancient understandings. Studies of lucid dreaming have confirmed that consciousness can remain active and aware during sleep, capable of making deliberate choices and maintaining continuity of self-awareness across different states. This validates the basic premise underlying ancient dream practices, that consciousness possesses capabilities that extend beyond ordinary waking awareness. As you contemplate this convergence of ancient and modern understanding, notice how it might expand your own relationship with dreams. Rather than dismissing nighttime experiences as mere neurological noise, you might begin to approach dreams with the reverence and curiosity that our ancestors brought to these mysterious nightly journeys. The recent achievements in dream-to-dream communication represent perhaps the most significant breakthrough in consciousness research in decades. These experiments demonstrate that the boundaries between individual minds become more permeable during sleep, opening possibilities that seemed impossible just a few years ago. The technology developed by REM Space and other research groups works by monitoring brainwave patterns to detect when dreamers enter lucid states, then using various communication methods to establish contact between sleeping individuals. The process requires extensive training, sophisticated equipment, and precise timing, but the results suggest that consciousness during sleep operates with capabilities we're only beginning to understand. In successful experiments, 2 dreamers in separate locations have exchanged simple words, mathematical concepts, and even emotional states while both remain asleep. The communication isn't telepathic in any mystical sense, but rather involves technological interfaces that translate brainwave patterns into communicable signals. However, the fact that consciousness can maintain coherent communication while disconnected from sensory input suggests profound implications for our understanding of awareness itself. These experiments provide a technological bridge that might eventually allow us to explore whether dream communication can extend beyond individual minds in our reality to potential connections with parallel versions of ourselves. If consciousness can reach across the gap between separate dreamers, Some interpretations suggest it might also bridge the quantum barriers between alternate realities, though this remains speculative. The implications extend far beyond scientific curiosity. Dream communication technology could revolutionize therapy, education, and creative collaboration. Imagine being able to work through psychological issues with a therapist while both participants remain in the enhanced creative and emotional states that characterize dream consciousness. Consider the possibilities for collaborative problem-solving, artistic creation, or simply maintaining connection with loved ones across vast distances. More speculatively, if parallel universe dream connections prove possible, this technology might provide a means for deliberately accessing these alternate realities. Rather than waiting for spontaneous dreams that some interpret as connecting us to parallel selves, we could potentially develop protocols for structured or symbolic exploration of alternate timelines and different life paths. The research continues to evolve rapidly, with each experiment revealing new capabilities and raising new questions about the nature of consciousness during sleep. As these technologies become more sophisticated and accessible, we may be approaching a future where the boundary between dreaming and waking consciousness becomes increasingly fluid. One of the most intriguing aspects of potential parallel universe dreams involves the way memory operates across these experiences. Unlike ordinary dreams, which typically fade rapidly upon waking, dreams that people interpret as parallel reality connections often leave lasting, vivid memories that can be recalled with startling clarity years or even decades later. These persistent dream memories possess qualities that distinguish them from both ordinary dreams and waking memories. They often include sensory details that exceed normal dream vividness, emotional resonances that feel more authentic than typical dream emotions, and narrative coherence that rivals or surpasses waking experience. Most significantly, these memories seem to exist independently of the dreamer's conscious mind, maintaining their integrity and detail without the active rehearsal typically required to preserve memory. Neuroscience research reveals that memory consolidation during sleep involves complex interactions between different brain regions, with the hippocampus playing a crucial role in transferring information from temporary to long-term storage. During REM sleep, when most vivid dreams occur, these memory systems show unique activity patterns that differ markedly from both waking memory processing and non-REM sleep. Some researchers speculate that the unusual memory characteristics of potential parallel universe dreams might result from hypothetical quantum entanglement effects during memory formation. If consciousness can theoretically access quantum information from alternate realities, this information might be encoded using the same neural pathways that process waking memories, creating experiences that feel genuinely remembered rather than merely dreamed. The emotional component of these memories provides another fascinating dimension. People who experience what they interpret as parallel universe dreams often report that the emotional content feels more real and lasting than emotions experienced in ordinary dreams. These feelings don't dissipate upon waking, but instead integrate into the person's ongoing emotional landscape, sometimes influencing waking life decisions and perspectives. Consider your own experience with dream memory. Most dreams fade quickly upon waking, becoming hazy fragments within hours and disappearing entirely within days. But perhaps you've had dreams that remained vivid and emotionally resonant for years, dreams that feel more like recovered memories than imagined experiences. These persistent dream memories might represent something beyond ordinary neurological processing, though this remains speculative. As you reflect on this possibility, notice how it might change your relationship with memory itself. If some dream memories represent genuine experiences from parallel realities according to speculative interpretations, then the boundary between imagination and memory becomes more fluid, more mysterious, and more open to extraordinary possibilities. The question that emerges is profound. If consciousness can retain vivid, lasting memories of experiences that occur in alternate realities, then what does this mean for our understanding of personal identity, the continuity of self, and the nature of experience itself? These dream memories might represent not just neurological artifacts, but speculative expansions of consciousness that allow us to live multiple lives across multiple realities simultaneously. In our continuing exploration, we'll delve into the practical implications of this possibility, examining how recognition of potential parallel universe dream connections might influence our understanding of choice, destiny, and the infinite potential that lies within each moment of conscious awareness. The journey into these mysteries continues to unfold, revealing new layers of wonder with each step deeper into the quantum realm of consciousness and dreams. As we drift deeper into these contemplative waters, a profound question emerges from our exploration of parallel universe dreams. If consciousness can indeed access alternate realities through sleep, what does this mean for the choices we make in our waking lives? This remains a speculative idea, not a proven scientific fact, but the implications invite us to reconsider the very nature of decision-making and personal agency. Every choice you make creates ripples through the fabric of possibility. In the framework of quantum mechanics and the many worlds' interpretation, each decision point represents a branching of reality, where all possible outcomes unfold simultaneously in parallel dimensions. Your choice to listen to this exploration right now, the path that brought you to this moment, the countless small decisions that shaped your day, all of these might represent just one thread in an infinite tapestry of parallel experiences. Consider the weight of this possibility for a moment. If parallel versions of yourself are living out every choice you didn't make, then somewhere in the quantum multiverse there exists a version who chose differently at every crucial juncture. There's a you who took that job offer you declined, who moved to that city you considered, who said yes when you said no, who spoke when you remained silent. Some interpretations suggest that dreams of alternate life paths might not be mere wish fulfillment or psychological processing, but symbolic or hypothetical glimpses into these parallel decision trees. When you dream of living in a different house, working in a different career, or being in a different relationship, you might be experiencing the emotional reality of choices made by alternate versions of yourself from a speculative standpoint. Dr. Robert Lanzer's biocentrism theory proposes that consciousness itself creates reality rather than merely observing it. Under this speculative framework, the observer effect in quantum mechanics suggests that awareness plays a fundamental role in determining which possibilities become manifest. If consciousness can influence quantum outcomes, then perhaps the choices we make while awake and the experiences we have while dreaming exist in a dynamic feedback loop, each informing and influencing the other across dimensional boundaries. This perspective transforms every decision from an isolated event into a cosmic conversation. When you choose compassion over anger, creativity over complacency, or courage over fear, you might not only be shaping your own timeline, but also sending metaphorical ripples across parallel realities, influencing the choices available to other versions of yourself. Take a breath and imagine what this could mean for your understanding of responsibility and possibility. If your choices echo across multiple dimensions, then every moment becomes an opportunity to contribute positively to the infinite variations of your existence. The kindness you show, the growth you pursue, the love you express might symbolically reverberate through countless parallel lives, creating waves of positive influence across the quantum multiverse. As you listen to these possibilities, notice how certain ideas might stir something deep within your awareness, perhaps a recognition that transcends logical understanding. The emotional dimension of parallel universe dreams often provides the most compelling evidence for their potential authenticity, though this remains speculative and unproven. People who experience what they interpret as parallel reality dreams report emotional qualities that feel fundamentally different from ordinary dream emotions. These feelings possess a weight, a persistence, and an authenticity that seems to originate from lived experience rather than imagination. The love felt for dream family members, the satisfaction derived from dream achievements, the grief experienced through dream losses, all carry an emotional signature that suggests genuine relationship and investment according to personal interpretation. One particularly intriguing aspect involves what researchers call emotional bleeding, where emotions from potential parallel universe dreams influence waking life in profound and lasting ways. A person might awaken from a dream of deep fulfillment in an alternate career and find themselves fundamentally changed in their approach to their actual work. The emotional memory of that parallel satisfaction becomes a guiding force, inspiring real-world choices that align with the emotional truth discovered in the dream state. These emotional crossovers don't feel like inspiration drawn from fantasy, but rather like recovered memories of authentic experience. The dreamer doesn't think, "That would be nice to experience someday," but instead feels, "I remember what that fulfillment actually felt like, and I want to recreate it here." This subtle but significant distinction suggests that something more complex than imagination might be occurring during these dream experiences, though again, this remains unverified. The persistence of these emotions provides another compelling dimension. While typical dream emotions fade rapidly upon waking, emotions from potential parallel universe dreams often intensify and clarify over time. Rather than becoming vague memories of feeling states, they develop into emotional reference points that inform decision-making and value clarification throughout waking life. Some interpretations suggest that this emotional persistence might result from hypothetical quantum entanglement effects operating at the level of emotional memory. If consciousness can theoretically access quantum information from alternate realities, the emotional content of these experiences might be encoded using the same neural pathways that process genuine emotional memories, creating lasting impressions that feel more real than imagined. Consider your own relationship with emotional memory. Think about the feelings that have shaped your most important life choices, the emotional experiences that continue to influence your values and decisions. Some of these might originate from waking life events, but others might feel more mysterious, as if they emerged from experiences you can't quite place in your personal history. Have you ever felt drawn toward a particular path, not because of logical reasoning, but because of an emotional memory of fulfillment that seems to come from nowhere? Have you avoided certain choices because they triggered emotional warning signals that felt like recovered memories of disappointment or regret? These emotional guideposts might represent symbolic echoes from alternate experiences, according to some speculative interpretations. As our understanding of potential parallel universe connections through dreams continues to evolve, some researchers and practitioners are developing methods for more conscious exploration of these nocturnal journeys. While this remains highly speculative territory, the practices emerging from this research offer fascinating possibilities for expanding awareness during sleep states. Lucid dreaming, the ability to maintain conscious awareness while dreaming, provides the foundation for most conscious dream exploration techniques. When dreamers achieve lucidity, they can make deliberate choices about how to interact with the dream environment, potentially including attempts to connect more consciously with parallel realities. Advanced lucid dreamers report techniques for stabilizing dream consciousness and maintaining awareness across extended dream sequences. These methods often involve developing what practitioners call dream anchors, specific objects, symbols, or practices that help maintain continuity of awareness throughout the dream experience. Some dreamers work with dream journals that they use within the dream state itself, recording information about parallel life experiences for later analysis. The challenge lies in distinguishing between elaborate fantasy creation and subjectively perceived parallel reality access. Some interpretations suggest that authentic parallel universe dreams possess certain characteristics that can be cultivated and recognized through practice. These include emotional authenticity, narrative consistency, and the presence of information that extends beyond the dreamer's conscious knowledge. Practitioners often develop what they call reality verification protocols, methods for testing whether dream experiences might represent genuine, alternate reality connections. These might include attempting to gather specific, verifiable information during dreams, looking for historical details that can be researched upon waking, or seeking to maintain ongoing relationships with dream characters across multiple dream encounters. Group dream exploration represents another emerging area of practice. Some research groups work with multiple dreamers, attempting to access shared dream spaces or symbolically perceived parallel realities simultaneously. While no scientific consensus exists on the possibility of shared dreaming, some practitioners report success in coordinating dream experiences and comparing notes on parallel reality encounters. The meditation practices that support conscious dream exploration often focus on developing what practitioners call quantum awareness, a state of consciousness that remains open to non-local information and interdimensional possibilities. These practices typically emphasize releasing attachment to linear thinking, expanding awareness beyond individual identity, and cultivating sensitivity to subtle information that might originate from parallel sources. As you consider these practices, notice whether any particular approach resonates with your own interests and capabilities. The exploration of consciousness during sleep represents one of the most accessible frontiers for personal research into the nature of awareness and reality. Every night offers an opportunity to investigate these mysteries firsthand, to explore the boundaries of your own consciousness, and to gather evidence about the true nature of dreaming and its potential connections to parallel realities. The possibility that dreams might connect us to parallel universes opens extraordinary avenues for understanding personal development and psychological healing. If consciousness can access alternate timelines where different choices were made and different outcomes experienced, then every sleep cycle becomes an opportunity for expanded learning and emotional integration. This remains purely speculative, But consider the therapeutic implications. Traditional psychotherapy often involves exploring hypothetical scenarios, examining how different choices might have led to different outcomes, and working through emotional patterns that limit growth and fulfillment. If parallel universe dreams provide symbolic or imagined access to lived experiences of alternate choices, then the unconscious mind might naturally engage in this therapeutic process every night. People who work consciously with their dreams often report profound insights that seem to originate from experiences beyond their waking life history. They describe dreams where they successfully navigate challenges that feel impossible in waking life, where they experience healing relationships that provide templates for real-world connection, or where they discover capabilities and strengths that feel both foreign and authentically their own. Some interpretations suggest that these healing dreams might represent symbolic dialogues with parallel versions of yourself who successfully resolved similar challenges. The wisdom, emotional skills, and perspective gained by alternate selves might become accessible through dream states, providing resources for growth and healing that transcend individual life experience. The integration process becomes crucial in this framework. If dreams provide access to parallel experiences, then the work of conscious integration involves translating insights, emotional patterns, and successful strategies from dream realities into waking life application. This requires developing sensitivity to the subtle differences between fantasy-based dreams and those that might carry symbolic or metaphorical wisdom from alternate timelines. Dream integration practices often involve extensive journaling, emotional processing work, and conscious experimentation with applying dream insights to waking life challenges. Practitioners learn to recognize the emotional signature of dreams that feel like genuine alternate reality experiences, and they develop protocols for testing whether dream-derived insights prove helpful in actual life situations. The healing potential extends beyond individual therapy to collective and intergenerational healing. Some interpretations propose that parallel universe dreams might provide symbolic access not only to alternate versions of your own life, but to the experiences of ancestors, descendants, and other individuals whose lives intersect with yours across different timelines. This could offer profound resources for understanding family patterns, cultural healing, and collective trauma resolution. Take a breath and consider how this perspective might transform your relationship with personal challenges and limitations. If parallel versions of yourself have successfully navigated every difficulty you face, then the resources for healing and growth already exist somewhere within the quantum field of possibility. The question becomes not whether solutions exist, but how to access the wisdom and experience of alternate selves who have already discovered these solutions. Recent advances in neuroscience and quantum physics are beginning to provide theoretical frameworks for understanding how consciousness might theoretically transfer information across dimensional boundaries. While these remain highly speculative areas of research, the emerging science offers fascinating insights into the potential mechanisms underlying parallel universe dream experiences. Quantum consciousness research suggests that awareness might operate through quantum field effects that transcend the boundaries of individual brains. Some interpretations propose that consciousness exists as a fundamental property of the universe itself, with individual brains serving as quantum antennae that tune into specific frequencies of cosmic awareness. During sleep, when the filtering effects of sensory input and logical processing are reduced, these quantum antennae might become sensitive to broader ranges of consciousness frequency. The discovery of quantum effects in biological systems provides crucial support for these theoretical frameworks. Researchers have found evidence of quantum coherence in photosynthesis, bird navigation, and enzymatic processes, demonstrating that biological systems can maintain quantum states under conditions previously thought impossible. Some speculative theories propose that the brain's microtubular structures might serve as biological quantum computers, processing information through quantum superposition and entanglement effects. Dr. Penrose and Hameroff's orchestrated objective reduction theory suggests that consciousness emerges from quantum processes in neural microtubules. While this theory remains controversial and unproven, it provides a potential mechanism by which consciousness might theoretically access quantum information from parallel realities. During sleep, when metabolic activity decreases and neural noise is reduced, these microtubular quantum processes might theoretically achieve coherent states that allow for hypothetical interdimensional information transfer. The role of electromagnetic fields in consciousness represents another area of active research. Some studies suggest that consciousness might involve electromagnetic field effects that extend beyond the physical boundaries of the brain. If consciousness operates through electromagnetic fields, then theoretical models propose that these fields might theoretically interact with speculative electromagnetic patterns from parallel realities under specific conditions. Though no scientific consensus exists on this possibility, experiments in quantum biology continue to reveal surprising capabilities of biological systems for processing quantum information. The recent discovery of room temperature quantum effects in certain biological molecules suggests that the brain might theoretically possess capabilities for quantum information processing that exceed current technological quantum computers. This raises speculative possibilities about consciousness accessing quantum information that exists beyond individual neural networks. As you contemplate these scientific frontiers, notice how they might expand your understanding of the relationship between mind and reality. The emerging science suggests that consciousness might be far more fundamental and far-reaching than traditional neuroscience assumes. Rather than being produced by brain activity, consciousness might be a cosmic phenomenon that brains access and focus, like radio receivers tuning into cosmic broadcasts. This perspective transforms every moment of awareness from a local brain event into a cosmic phenomenon. Your thoughts, emotions, and experiences might represent not just individual neural activity, but participation in a universal field of consciousness that connects all possibilities across space, time, and dimensions. As humanity's scientific understanding of consciousness and quantum mechanics continues to evolve, our cultural relationship with dreams is undergoing a profound transformation. The possibility that dreams might connect us to parallel realities represents more than just a scientific hypothesis. It signals a fundamental shift in how we understand the nature of human experience and our place in the cosmic order. Throughout history, cultures have oscillated between viewing dreams as meaningless neurological noise and recognizing them as profound sources of wisdom and connection. The scientific revolution of the past few centuries emphasized materialist explanations that reduced dreams to memory processing and wish fulfillment. But the emergence of quantum physics and consciousness research is creating space for more expansive understandings that honor both scientific rigor and experiential wisdom. The integration of ancient wisdom traditions with modern quantum theories creates fascinating possibilities for cultural evolution. Indigenous practices for dream navigation, mystical techniques for consciousness expansion, and contemplative methods for awareness cultivation are finding new relevance as potential technologies for exploring quantum consciousness and interdimensional awareness. Educational systems are beginning to incorporate consciousness studies, quantum physics, and interdisciplinary approaches that bridge science and spirituality. Future generations might grow up with radically different assumptions about the nature of consciousness, the reality of parallel dimensions, and the potential for human awareness to transcend ordinary boundaries of space and time. The technological implications continue to expand as brain-computer interfaces become more sophisticated. Future devices might theoretically enhance natural quantum processes in the brain, amplifying the potential for conscious dream exploration and speculative interdimensional communication. While these remain speculative possibilities, the rapid pace of neurotechnology development suggests that science fiction scenarios might become accessible realities within decades. Creative fields are already beginning to explore the artistic possibilities of parallel universe dream experiences. Musicians, writers, and visual artists report drawing inspiration from dream encounters with alternate versions of themselves or parallel reality experiences that provide access to creative works that exist in other dimensions. This cross-dimensional creativity might represent a new frontier in artistic expression and cultural development. The philosophical implications extend to fundamental questions about personal identity, free will, and the meaning of existence. If consciousness can access multiple parallel lives simultaneously, then concepts of individual identity become more fluid and expansive. The choices you make might influence not only your own timeline, but the possibilities available to infinite, alternate versions of yourself across the quantum multiverse. Some interpretations suggest that recognition of parallel universe connections through dreams might catalyze a species-wide expansion of consciousness, where humanity begins to experience itself as a multidimensional civilization existing across numerous parallel realities simultaneously. This could transform approaches to problem-solving, creativity, healing, and spiritual development by providing access to the accumulated wisdom and experience of countless parallel human civilizations. Take a moment to imagine what daily life might look like in a culture that fully recognizes and works with parallel universe dream connections. Education might include training in conscious dream navigation. Therapy might involve accessing healing wisdom from alternate timelines. Scientific research might utilize speculative, interdimensional collaboration between parallel versions of research teams. Creative projects might draw upon inspiration and knowledge from infinite parallel sources. As we approach the possibility that consciousness might access parallel realities through dreams, profound ethical questions emerge about responsibility, identity, and the impact of our choices across multiple dimensions. These considerations remain purely speculative, but they invite us to think deeply about the moral implications of expanded awareness and interdimensional connection. If your choices and actions influence not only your own timeline, but also the possibilities available to parallel versions of yourself, then every decision carries amplified ethical weight. The kindness you choose to express, the growth you pursue, the healing work you undertake might create positive ripples across infinite parallel realities, benefiting countless alternate versions of yourself and the people whose lives intersect with yours. This perspective transforms personal development from an individual pursuit into a multi-dimensional service project. When you work to heal emotional patterns, develop wisdom, or cultivate compassion, some interpretations suggest you might be contributing to the healing and growth of parallel selves across numerous realities. Your individual progress becomes a gift to the collective network of your multi-dimensional existence. The question of consent becomes complex in this framework. If dream experiences provide access to the lives and experiences of parallel selves, what are the ethical implications of accessing this information? Some philosophical frameworks propose that all versions of yourself across parallel realities represent aspects of a unified, multi-dimensional consciousness, making consent a non-issue. Others suggest that each parallel self possesses autonomous awareness that deserves respect and consideration. Privacy concerns extend beyond individual boundaries to encompass the experiences and relationships of alternate selves. If dreams provide access to parallel relationships, career experiences, or personal challenges, then dreamers might need to develop ethical guidelines for how to use this information responsibly in their waking lives. The impact on decision-making becomes another ethical consideration. If parallel universe dreams provide access to the outcomes of unchosen paths, how should this information influence current choices? Some interpretations suggest that this expanded awareness should inspire greater courage and creativity, knowing that alternate versions of yourself are exploring every possible path. Others propose that such knowledge might create paralysis or inappropriate detachment from the consequences of choices in your primary reality. Therapeutic applications raise questions about the boundaries of healing work. If consciousness can access healing wisdom from parallel realities, what are the ethical implications for therapists and healers who work with these expanded awareness states? How can practitioners maintain appropriate boundaries while honouring the multidimensional nature of consciousness and healing? The collective implications become even more complex. If parallel universe connections operate not only at individual levels, but also at collective levels, then communities, nations, and species might have ethical responsibilities that extend across multiple realities. The choices made by human civilization might influence the development and well-being of speculative parallel human civilizations across countless alternate timelines. Some interpretations suggest that developing ethical frameworks for interdimensional awareness represents one of humanity's next evolutionary challenges. As consciousness expands to encompass broader ranges of possibility and connection, moral reasoning must evolve to address the complexities of multidimensional existence and responsibility. Consider how these ethical considerations might influence your own approach to personal growth and decision-making. If your choices echo across infinite parallel realities, what additional motivation might this provide for choosing love over fear, growth over stagnation, service over selfishness? How might awareness of your multidimensional existence inspire greater responsibility and compassion in your daily interactions? As we look toward the future of consciousness research and dream exploration, we stand at the threshold of discoveries that might fundamentally transform human understanding of awareness, reality, and our place in the cosmic order. The convergence of quantum physics, neuroscience, and consciousness studies is creating unprecedented opportunities for investigating the deepest mysteries of existence. Advanced neuroimaging technologies continue to reveal new layers of complexity in dream consciousness. Future brain-computer interfaces might provide real-time access to dream experiences, allowing researchers to study speculative, parallel universe dream connections with unprecedented precision and detail. These technologies might eventually enable collaborative dream exploration, where multiple researchers can share and investigate dream experiences simultaneously. Quantum computing advances are beginning to provide tools for modeling consciousness at quantum scales. As quantum computers become more powerful and accessible, researchers might develop simulations that test theoretical frameworks for interdimensional consciousness, transfer, and hypothetical parallel reality access. These computational models could provide insights into the mechanisms underlying potential parallel universe dream connections. The integration of artificial intelligence with consciousness research offers fascinating possibilities for understanding and enhancing dream exploration. AI systems trained on vast data sets of dream experiences might identify patterns and characteristics that distinguish ordinary dreams from potential speculative parallel reality encounters. Machine learning algorithms could help dreamers optimize their practices for achieving conscious interdimensional awareness. Collaborative research networks are emerging that connect scientists, practitioners, and citizen researchers in global investigations of consciousness and dream phenomena. These networks utilize internet technologies to coordinate large-scale studies of dream experiences, lucid dreaming practices, and potential parallel universe encounters. The democratization of consciousness research allows for unprecedented scale and diversity in data collection and analysis. Educational applications continue to expand as institutions begin incorporating consciousness studies into mainstream curricula. Future generations might grow up with comprehensive training in dream navigation, quantum awareness, and multidimensional consciousness. This educational evolution could accelerate humanity's collective development of speculative, interdimensional awareness capabilities. The therapeutic applications of parallel universe dream research show enormous potential for transforming approaches to healing and personal development. Future therapeutic modalities might include guided symbolic interdimensional exploration, parallel self-consultation protocols, and quantum consciousness integration practices. These approaches could provide access to healing resources that transcend individual life experience and temporal limitations. Creative applications offer exciting possibilities for artistic and cultural development. Musicians might collaborate with conceptual parallel versions of themselves across multiple realities. Writers might access stories and wisdom from imagined alternate timelines. Visual artists might channel creative inspiration from symbolic parallel sources. This cross-dimensional creativity could catalyze unprecedented cultural renaissance and artistic innovation. As you contemplate these future possibilities, notice how they might inspire your own engagement with consciousness exploration and dream research. The future of human awareness might depend upon individuals like yourself who are willing to explore these frontiers with curiosity, discernment, and ethical consideration. Every night offers an opportunity to participate in this collective investigation of consciousness and reality. The questions that emerge from this exploration extend far beyond academic curiosity. They touch the deepest aspects of human existence, identity, purpose, and possibility. If consciousness can indeed access parallel realities through dreams, then humanity stands at the threshold of a fundamental expansion in our understanding of what it means to be human, what it means to be conscious, and what it means to exist in a universe of infinite possibility. This exploration of dreams as potential gateways to parallel universes invites us to approach the mystery of consciousness with both scientific rigor and wonder-filled openness. Whether or not dreams actually connect us to alternate realities, the investigation itself expands our awareness of the profound mystery that consciousness represents and the extraordinary possibilities that might exist within every moment of awareness. As you prepare to drift into your own dreams tonight, perhaps you'll approach that threshold between waking and sleeping with new curiosity about the journeys your consciousness might undertake. Whether you encounter ordinary dreams, lucid adventures, or potential glimpses into parallel realities, each sleep cycle offers an opportunity to explore the deepest mysteries of existence from the inside out. The universe of consciousness remains vast, largely unexplored, and infinitely mysterious. In dreams, we touch the edges of that mystery, and sometimes perhaps we discover that the edges extend far beyond anything we previously imagined possible. The adventure continues every night, in the quiet theatre of sleep, where consciousness plays out possibilities we're only beginning to understand. If you found yourself drawn into these contemplative explorations of consciousness and quantum possibilities, you might enjoy discovering how the past itself might not be as fixed as we assume. The strange relationship between memory, time, and parallel realities suggests that what we call the past might still be actively unfolding around us in ways that challenge our basic assumptions about the nature of temporal reality. What if the past never ended, and you're still in it? This exploration awaits when you're ready to dive deeper into the mysteries of time, memory, and multi-dimensional existence. As we venture deeper into these nocturnal mysteries, a fascinating question emerges from the laboratories, where researchers study the boundaries between individual minds and collective consciousness. What if the phenomenon of shared dreaming represents more than just technological achievement? What if it reveals something fundamental about the theorized permeable nature of consciousness itself during sleep states? The experiments conducted by REM Space and other research groups have moved beyond simple message exchange between dreamers. Recent trials involve what researchers call consciousness networking, where multiple dreamers attempt to access shared virtual environments while maintaining individual awareness. These collaborative dream spaces seem to operate according to rules that differ markedly from both waking physics and ordinary dream logic. In one particularly intriguing experiment, 3 lucid dreamers in separate locations reported encountering the same architectural space, a library with impossible geometry where books contained information none of the participants had previously encountered. When researchers analysed the content described by each dreamer, they found remarkable consistency in architectural details, emotional atmosphere, and even specific textual passages that the dreamers claimed to have read within the shared dream environment. While this remains purely experimental and unproven, some interpretations suggest that these shared dream spaces might represent symbolic intersections between parallel realities, dimensional crossroads, where consciousness from multiple timelines can temporarily converge. The information accessed in these spaces might not originate from any single dreamer's memory or imagination, but rather from the speculative collective quantum field that some theories propose underlies all consciousness. The implications extend far beyond academic curiosity. If consciousness can indeed access shared informational spaces during sleep, then the boundary between individual and collective awareness becomes more fluid than previously imagined. Your dreams might occasionally connect not only to parallel versions of yourself, but to a vast network of consciousness that spans multiple realities and dimensions. Consider what this could mean for learning, creativity, and problem solving. If dream states can access conceptual collective information fields, then sleep becomes more than rest and memory consolidation. It becomes a nightly opportunity to tap into wisdom, knowledge, and creative inspiration that extends far beyond individual experience and education. Some researchers are exploring whether certain types of information might be more accessible through these shared dream states than others. Preliminary observations suggest that emotional wisdom, creative insights, and solutions to complex problems appear more readily in collaborative dream environments than factual data or technical specifications. This pattern aligns with theories suggesting that consciousness operates through quantum field effects that are more sensitive to meaningful patterns than to random information. Time operates differently in the realm of dreams, and this temporal fluidity might provide crucial insights into how consciousness could theoretically access parallel realities. Unlike waking time, which flows in linear sequence from past through present to future, dream time exhibits what researchers call morphological characteristics that seem to transcend ordinary temporal limitations. In dreams, you might experience decades of life in a single night's sleep, or revisit childhood memories with adult awareness, or encounter future possibilities as if they were present realities. This temporal flexibility suggests that consciousness during sleep operates according to principles that differ fundamentally from waking awareness, principles that might theoretically allow access to alternate timelines and parallel life experiences. Some interpretations propose that dream consciousness exists in what physicists call a quantum temporal state, where past, present, and future become superposed rather than sequential. In this state, consciousness might theoretically access information from speculative parallel timelines where events unfolded differently, where choices led to alternate outcomes, where the trajectory of life followed entirely different paths. The phenomenon of precognitive dreams provides another intriguing dimension to consider. Throughout history, people have reported dreams that seemed to symbolically anticipate future events with remarkable clarity. While most such reports can be explained by coincidence, pattern recognition, or unconscious information processing, some cases involve such specific, verifiable details that alternative interpretations become compelling to consider as speculative possibilities. If consciousness can occasionally access future information during sleep, some speculative frameworks suggest it might also access information from parallel presents, alternate timelines, where different versions of events are simultaneously unfolding. The dream might not be predicting your future so much as revealing possible futures that exist for speculative parallel versions of yourself in alternate realities. Time dilation effects in dreams offer another fascinating area of investigation. Many dreamers report experiencing dream narratives that span months or years of subjective time within a single night's sleep. These extended dream experiences often include detailed character development, relationship evolution, and life progression that feels authentically lived rather than merely imagined. Brain imaging studies reveal that during REM sleep, areas of the brain associated with temporal processing show unusual activity patterns that differ markedly from waking time perception. Some researchers speculate that these altered temporal processing states might create windows where consciousness becomes sensitive to quantum temporal effects, theoretical phenomena that could potentially provide access to information from alternate timelines. As you contemplate these temporal mysteries, notice how they might reframe your understanding of memory and anticipation. If consciousness can access multiple timelines simultaneously, then what you experience as memory might occasionally include recovered experiences from parallel lives, and what you experience as intuition about the future might sometimes represent wisdom gathered from alternate versions of your unfolding story. Within the depths of sleep consciousness lies what some researchers describe as a form of quantum archaeology, where the dreaming mind appears to excavate information, experiences, and memories that seem to originate beyond individual life history. This phenomenon suggests that consciousness might function as both a personal awareness system and a cosmic information gathering mechanism. Dreams often contain historical details, cultural knowledge, and technical information that dreamers report having never encountered in their waking lives. While much of this can be attributed to forgotten memories and unconscious pattern recognition, some cases involve such specific, verifiable details from historical periods or cultural contexts completely outside the dreamer's education or experience that speculative, alternative interpretations become worth considering. One particularly compelling category involves dreams of historical events experienced from first-person perspectives, where dreamers report living through specific moments in history with emotional authenticity and sensory detail that feels genuinely remembered rather than imagined. These experiences often include accurate historical details about daily life, social customs, and environmental conditions that can be verified through historical research, but were unknown to the dreamer. Some interpretations suggest that these historical dream experiences might represent theoretical quantum archaeological access to the consciousness of actual historical individuals, or to speculative parallel versions of yourself living in different time periods. If consciousness operates through quantum field effects that transcend temporal boundaries, then the experiences of past individuals might theoretically remain accessible within the quantum information matrix that some theories propose underlies all reality. The emotional authenticity of these historical dreams provides particularly compelling evidence for something beyond ordinary imagination. Dreamers report feeling genuine emotional connections to historical periods, experiencing authentic grief for losses in historical contexts, and maintaining lasting emotional impressions of historical relationships that feel as real as any memory from waking life. Archaeological dreams also extend into future territories, where dreamers report experiencing possible future scenarios with the same emotional authenticity and sensory detail as historical experiences. These future dreams often involve technological developments, social changes, or environmental conditions that seem to represent logical extensions of current trends, but include specific details that feel discovered rather than invented. The consistency of certain archaeological dream themes across different dreamers provides another intriguing dimension. Researchers have identified recurring patterns in historical dream experiences that appear independently across multiple dreamers with no conscious connection to each other. These shared archaeological dream themes might suggest access to conceptual collective informational fields rather than individual imagination. Take a breath and consider what quantum archaeology might mean for your understanding of human knowledge and cultural memory. If consciousness can access historical and future information through quantum field effects, then sleep becomes a nightly opportunity to explore the full spectrum of human experience across time, gathering wisdom and perspective from the accumulated consciousness of countless individuals throughout history. As our exploration deepens, we encounter one of the most personally meaningful aspects of potential parallel universe dream connections, the complex emotional ecosystem that seems to exist across multiple realities. The feelings experienced in these dreams don't merely fade upon waking like typical dream emotions, but instead integrate into the dreamer's ongoing emotional landscape in ways that suggest genuine relationship and authentic experience. People who work consciously with what they interpret as parallel universe dreams often describe developing emotional relationships with alternate versions of family members, friends, and romantic partners who exist across different timelines. These relationships possess emotional depth and continuity that extends far beyond single dream encounters, creating what some describe as a multi-dimensional emotional family that includes both waking life connections and parallel reality relationships. The grief experienced when these dream relationships end through death, separation, or inability to return to specific dream realities often equals or exceeds the emotional impact of losses in waking life. This profound emotional response suggests that something more complex than imagination might be occurring, that symbolic bonds might form across dimensional boundaries through dream consciousness. Some interpretations propose that emotional energy operates according to speculative quantum principles that transcend ordinary spatial and temporal limitations. If love, grief, joy, and other emotional states represent quantum informational patterns, then these patterns might theoretically propagate across parallel realities, creating authentic emotional connections between alternate versions of the same consciousness network. The healing potential of this multidimensional emotional ecosystem becomes particularly intriguing when considered in therapeutic contexts. Dreams that provide access to symbolic healed relationships with deceased family members, resolved conflicts with estranged friends, or fulfilled romantic connections that never manifested in waking life might offer more than wish fulfillment or psychological processing. If these dream relationships represent conceptual connections to parallel realities where different relationship outcomes occurred, then the emotional healing experienced in dreams might provide real therapeutic value that transcends symbolic processing. The love experienced from a dream parent who is emotionally unavailable in waking life, the forgiveness exchanged with a dream friend who died before reconciliation was possible, the romantic fulfillment experienced with a dream partner who never existed in this reality, all might represent authentic emotional experiences that contribute to genuine healing and growth. The integration of multi-dimensional emotional experiences requires developing what some practitioners call quantum emotional intelligence, the ability to honor and work with feelings that originate from multiple realities simultaneously. This involves learning to distinguish between emotions that serve growth and healing versus those that might create attachment to inaccessible realities or dissatisfaction with present circumstances. Consider your own emotional landscape and the relationships that have shaped your heart throughout your lifetime. Some of your most meaningful connections might feel like they extend beyond the boundaries of ordinary time and space, as if you've known certain people across multiple lifetimes or realities. These feelings of deep recognition and timeless connection might represent symbolic emotional memories from parallel relationships that continue to influence your heart across dimensional boundaries. As research into dream consciousness and parallel reality access continues to evolve, emerging technologies are beginning to provide tools for more precise navigation of these mysterious realms. While much of this remains experimental and speculative, the convergence of neurotechnology, quantum computing, and consciousness research is opening unprecedented possibilities for systematic exploration of interdimensional awareness. Advanced EEG and brain-computer interface technologies are becoming sophisticated enough to monitor and potentially influence specific brainwave patterns associated with lucid dreaming and expanded awareness states. Some research groups are developing what they call consciousness navigation systems, technological interfaces that can detect optimal moments for attempting speculative parallel reality access and provide real-time feedback to support sustained interdimensional awareness. These systems often incorporate biofeedback mechanisms that monitor not only brainwave activity, but also heart rate variability, breathing patterns, and other physiological indicators of consciousness state. By learning to recognize the specific biomarker patterns associated with successful symbolic parallel reality access, dreamers might develop greater consistency and control in their interdimensional exploration practices. Virtual reality technologies are also being adapted to support consciousness navigation training. Some research groups use VR environments to simulate the disorienting spatial and temporal characteristics often reported in parallel universe dreams, helping practitioners develop familiarity with navigating non-linear realities before attempting actual interdimensional exploration during sleep. The integration of artificial intelligence with dream research offers fascinating possibilities for pattern recognition and experience mapping. AI systems trained on extensive databases of dream reports might identify subtle characteristics that distinguish potential speculative parallel reality encounters from ordinary dreams, providing dreamers with objective feedback about the nature of their experiences. Quantum sensing technologies, originally developed for detecting minute quantum field fluctuations in physics experiments, are being adapted for consciousness research applications. Some speculative research projects involve monitoring quantum field effects in the vicinity of sleeping dreamers to detect whether symbolic parallel reality access correlates with measurable changes in local quantum environments. The development of what researchers call quantum consciousness interfaces represents the most ambitious frontier in this technological evolution. These theoretical devices would utilize quantum entanglement effects to potentially amplify natural quantum processes in the brain, theoretically enhancing consciousness sensitivity to speculative interdimensional information. While such technologies remain largely conceptual, rapid advances in quantum computing and neurotechnology suggest they might become feasible within decades. As you consider these technological possibilities, notice how they might transform human potential for consciousness exploration and interdimensional awareness. The tools being developed could democratize access to expanded states of consciousness that were previously available only to advanced practitioners with years of training and natural aptitude. The possibility that consciousness might access parallel realities through dreams raises profound philosophical questions about the nature of personal identity and the boundaries of the self. If you can experience the lives and choices of alternate versions of yourself across multiple realities, then what defines your individual identity? Are you a singular consciousness having multiple experiences, or multiple consciousnesses sharing a unified identity field? Traditional concepts of personal identity rest on assumptions of continuity through time, coherent memory, and singular embodiment. But if parallel universe dreams provide genuine access to alternate life paths, then identity becomes more fluid, more expansive, and more mysterious than conventional philosophy suggests. You might exist simultaneously as multiple versions across countless realities, each living fully authentic lives while sharing some deeper level of unified consciousness. Some philosophical frameworks propose that what we call individual identity represents just one frequency within a vast multidimensional consciousness field. From this perspective, your sense of being a separate self might be similar to a radio receiving one station clearly, while countless other stations broadcast simultaneously on different frequencies. Parallel universe dreams might occur when the radio of consciousness temporarily picks up signals from alternate frequencies, allowing brief access to other stations in the same consciousness network. This multidimensional identity concept transforms questions of purpose and meaning from individual concerns into cosmic collaborations. If multiple versions of yourself are exploring different life paths simultaneously, then your individual choices and growth contribute to a larger pattern of development that extends across infinite realities. Every moment of compassion you choose, every instance of courage you express, every step toward healing and wisdom you take might create positive influences across countless parallel lives. The relationship between free will and determinism also becomes more complex in this framework. If all possible choices are being explored simultaneously by parallel versions of yourself, then the question shifts from whether you have free will to how your particular choices contribute to the overall pattern of possibility exploration. Your individual agency becomes meaningful not because it's the only choice being made, but because it represents a unique contribution to the infinite symphony of consciousness experiencing itself across multiple realities. Memory and learning take on new dimensions when viewed through this multidimensional identity lens. Skills, wisdom, and emotional growth achieved by any version of yourself might theoretically become accessible to other versions through quantum consciousness connections. This could explain phenomena like sudden insights, inexplicable skills, or emotional healing that seems to occur without apparent cause in waking life. The ethical implications of multidimensional identity extend beyond individual responsibility to encompass what some philosophers call cosmic citizenship. If your choices influence the well-being and possibilities available to infinite parallel versions of yourself and others, then ethical decision-making becomes a practice of service to the entire multidimensional network of consciousness. Consider how this philosophical perspective might influence your relationship with challenges, opportunities, and choices in your daily life. If you exist as multiple versions across infinite realities, then failure in one timeline becomes simply one data point in a vast experiment of possibility exploration. Similarly, success in this reality might inspire and support growth across parallel timelines, creating positive feedback loops that extend far beyond individual achievement. The therapeutic applications of parallel universe dream research are beginning to revolutionize approaches to healing and personal development. If consciousness can access alternate realities where different outcomes occurred, then healing might involve more than just working with this timeline's experiences and traumas. It might include accessing wisdom, resources, and healing energies from parallel versions of yourself who successfully navigated similar challenges. Some interpretations suggest that every trauma, limitation, or emotional wound experienced in this reality has corresponding healing and resolution in alternate timelines. the version of yourself who grew up with emotionally available parents, who never experienced specific traumas, or who found healing through different paths, might exist in parallel realities accessible through expanded consciousness states during sleep. Therapists working with this multidimensional healing framework often guide clients through what they call parallel self-consultation processes, where individuals use dream states or deep meditation to access guidance and wisdom from alternate versions of themselves who possess the resources needed for healing. This approach doesn't replace traditional therapy, but rather expands the available resources beyond individual life history. The integration of quantum healing concepts with dream therapy involves recognizing that emotional and psychological patterns might operate according to quantum principles that transcend ordinary temporal and spatial boundaries. If consciousness exists as a quantum field phenomenon, then healing interventions might theoretically affect symbolic parallel versions of traumatic experiences across multiple realities simultaneously. Some practitioners report remarkable success using dream-based healing protocols, where clients access alternate realities to experience healthy family dynamics, resolved relationships, or successful life outcomes that provide templates for healing in waking life. The emotional memory of being loved unconditionally by dream parents, the experience of confident self-expression in dream scenarios, or the feeling of deep fulfillment from dream career achievements becomes integrated as genuine emotional resources that support ongoing growth and healing. The phenomenon of spontaneous healing that sometimes occurs during or after particularly vivid dreams might represent symbolic therapeutic effects, where healing achieved in conceptual parallel realities somehow transfers across dimensional boundaries. While this remains entirely speculative, the subjective reports of dramatic emotional and even physical healing following profound dream experiences suggest possibilities that extend beyond conventional therapeutic models. Group healing applications of parallel reality access are also being explored, where multiple individuals work together to access collective healing wisdom from conceptual alternate timelines where humanity resolved specific challenges or developed greater wisdom around particular issues. These collective healing sessions might theoretically tap into symbolic parallel versions of human civilization that achieved greater harmony, sustainability, or spiritual development. As you reflect on your own healing journey and the challenges you've navigated throughout your life, consider whether some of your most profound moments of growth and resolution might have involved accessing wisdom or resources that felt like they came from beyond your individual experience, the sudden insights that transformed your understanding, the unexpected emotional healing that seemed to occur without apparent cause, or the skills and strengths that emerged during crisis situations might represent gifts from conceptual parallel versions of yourself who had already developed these capabilities. Recent advances in quantum physics and consciousness research are beginning to provide theoretical frameworks for understanding how consciousness might transition between different dimensional states during sleep. While this remains highly speculative, the emerging science offers fascinating insights into the potential mechanisms that could theoretically allow awareness to access conceptual parallel realities through dreams. The concept of dimensional transition involves understanding consciousness as existing in multiple states simultaneously, with ordinary waking awareness representing just one frequency within a broader spectrum of possible consciousness states. During sleep, particularly during REM phases, the neurological conditions that normally filter consciousness to a single dimensional frequency become altered, potentially allowing access to broader ranges of awareness. Quantum field theory suggests that all possible states of any system exist simultaneously, in superposition, until observation collapses the wave function into a single reality. Some interpretations propose that consciousness operates as a quantum observation system that normally focuses on one reality branch, while remaining potentially sensitive to information from speculative parallel branches under specific conditions. The brain's default mode network, which becomes highly active during sleep and meditation, might serve as a theoretical, biological quantum field detector that can symbolically access quantum information from parallel realities when not engaged in focused attention or sensory processing. This network's activity during REM sleep correlates with the most vivid and potentially symbolic rather than literal interdimensional dream experiences. Electromagnetic field effects in the brain during sleep show patterns that some researchers associate with possible hypothetical quantum coherent states. The reduction in external electromagnetic interference during sleep, combined with altered brainwave patterns, might create windows where consciousness becomes sensitive to extremely subtle quantum field effects that could theoretically carry information from parallel realities. The role of the pineal gland in consciousness and sleep regulation has attracted particular attention from researchers exploring dimensional transition mechanisms. This small endocrine gland produces various neurochemicals during sleep that affect consciousness states, and some speculative theories propose that it might serve as a hypothetical biological quantum antenna capable of symbolically detecting interdimensional information. Circadian rhythm research reveals that consciousness undergoes systematic changes throughout the sleep cycle that might correlate with varying sensitivity to quantum effects. The specific timing of parallel universe dream experiences often corresponds to particular sleep phases, suggesting that dimensional transition might require precise neurological conditions to occur, though this remains entirely speculative. The integration of chaos theory with consciousness research provides mathematical models for understanding how small quantum effects might amplify into significant changes in consciousness state. The brain operates as a complex dynamic system where tiny quantum fluctuations could theoretically cascade into major shifts in awareness, potentially enabling symbolic dimensional transition experiences. As you contemplate these scientific frontiers, notice how they might expand your understanding of the relationship between brain function and consciousness. Rather than consciousness being simply produced by neural activity, these theoretical frameworks suggest that the brain might serve as a quantum interface that can tune into different conceptual frequencies of cosmic awareness under specific conditions. As we approach the culmination of our exploration, we encounter perhaps the most profound implication of parallel universe dream research. The possibility that consciousness might serve as a symbolic cosmic cartographer, mapping the infinite landscape of possibility that quantum mechanics suggests underlies all reality. Every dream, every moment of expanded awareness, every glimpse into alternate realities might contribute to an ever-expanding map of what exists, what could exist, and what might yet come to be. The concept of possibility cartography suggests that consciousness doesn't just observe reality, but may symbolically explore the full spectrum of potential realities available within the quantum field of infinite possibility. Through dreams, meditation, and expanded awareness states, consciousness might systematically investigate alternate timelines, parallel outcomes, and different configurations of cosmic possibility. This cartographic function of consciousness could symbolically explain why human beings seem naturally drawn to exploring hypothetical scenarios, imagining different outcomes, and contemplating alternate life paths. What appears to be mere imagination might actually represent consciousness, exercising its natural capacity for possibility exploration, using the symbolic quantum field effects that some theories propose underlie all awareness. The maps created through possibility exploration might serve multiple functions for both individual consciousness and the larger cosmic system. For individuals, these maps provide resources for decision-making, problem-solving, and personal growth by offering access to symbolic wisdom and experience from alternate realities. For the cosmic system, individual consciousness exploration might metaphorically contribute to the overall evolution and development of universal awareness itself. Some interpretations suggest that the accumulated mapping data from billions of conscious beings exploring infinite possibilities through dreams and expanded awareness states might symbolically feed back into the quantum field that generates reality, influencing the probabilities and potentials available for future manifestation. In this view, consciousness serves not just as an observer of reality, but as an active participant in its ongoing creation and evolution. In a conceptual sense rather than a literal mechanism, the collaborative nature of possibility cartography becomes apparent when considering how individual dream experiences often contain information that extends beyond personal knowledge and experience. The maps created by each consciousness might contribute to a collective conceptual atlas of possibility that becomes accessible to other conscious beings under specific conditions. Cultural and historical patterns in dream experiences suggest that possibility cartography might operate not just at individual levels, but also at collective levels, where entire civilizations explore alternate developmental paths and potential futures through the collective, unconscious and shared dreaming experiences. The myths, visions, and creative inspirations that shape human culture might represent fragments of these symbolic collective possibility maps. The therapeutic and evolutionary implications of conscious participation in possibility cartography are profound. By learning to navigate dream states and expanded awareness with intention and skill, individuals might contribute more effectively to both personal growth and conceptual cosmic evolution, helping to map pathways toward healing, wisdom, and positive development across multiple realities. Take a breath and consider your role as a consciousness cartographer in the infinite landscape of possibility. Every choice you make, every dream you experience, every moment of expanded awareness might contribute to the ongoing exploration and mapping of cosmic potential. Your individual journey through the possibilities of existence becomes part of a vast collaborative project of consciousness, discovering itself across infinite realities in a speculative and symbolic sense. As our gentle journey through the mysteries of parallel universe dreams draws toward a natural resting place, we find ourselves contemplating one of the most beautiful and profound aspects of this entire exploration: the recognition that consciousness and cosmos exist in an eternal dance of mutual discovery and creation. Through dreams, through expanded awareness, through the daily miracle of conscious experience, we participate in the universe's ongoing process of understanding itself across infinite dimensions of possibility. The parallel realities that might be accessible through dreams don't exist in isolation from your waking life, but rather in constant dialogue with it. The wisdom gained from alternate timelines informs your choices in this reality, while the growth and healing you achieve here potentially influences the development of parallel selves across countless other realities in a metaphorical rather than literal sense. This creates an intricate web of mutual support and shared evolution that extends far beyond individual consciousness into the realm of symbolic cosmic collaboration. Every night, as you transition from waking awareness into the mysterious realm of sleep, you participate in one of the most profound adventures available to conscious beings: the exploration of infinite possibility through the quantum landscape of dreams. Whether these experiences represent neurological processing, symbolic interdimensional exploration, or something beyond current scientific understanding, they remain among the most intimate and personally meaningful aspects of human existence. The questions we've explored together, the possibilities we've contemplated, the scientific frontiers we have examined, all point toward a vision of reality that is far more mysterious, more interconnected, and more beautiful than conventional materialism suggests. Consciousness emerges not as a mere byproduct of neural activity, but as a fundamental feature of cosmic evolution, exploring itself across infinite realities through the vessel of individual awareness. As a speculative philosophical idea rather than a scientific conclusion, this perspective transforms every moment of your existence from a local event into a conceptual cosmic phenomenon. Your thoughts, dreams, choices, and experiences contribute to the universe's ongoing process of self-discovery and evolution. The love you express, the wisdom you develop, the healing you achieve, the creativity you manifest, all become part of the eternal dance between consciousness and cosmos. The parallel universe dream hypothesis, whether ultimately proven or forever remaining in the realm of speculative interpretation, serves as a powerful reminder of the profound mystery that consciousness represents. It invites us to approach our dreams, our choices, and our daily experiences with greater reverence, deeper curiosity, and expanded appreciation for the extraordinary nature of aware existence. As you prepare to drift into your own dreams tonight, perhaps you'll carry with you a sense of wonder about the journeys your consciousness might undertake in the vast landscape of possibility. Whether you encounter ordinary dreams, lucid adventures, parallel realities, or the peaceful emptiness of deep sleep, each experience offers its own gift to the ongoing dance between awareness and existence. The universe dreams through you, explores through you, discovers itself through every moment of your conscious experience. In dreams, this process becomes even more explicit as consciousness ventures beyond the boundaries of ordinary time and space into realms where all possibilities coexist in eternal shimmering potential. Metaphorically speaking, remember that you are both the dreamer and the dream, both the explorer and the landscape being explored, both the question being asked and the answer being discovered. In this recognition, the boundary between self and cosmos dissolves into the profound unity that mystics and physicists alike have glimpsed in the profound recognition that we might be participants in a cosmic conversation far grander than any individual perspective can fully encompass. The journey we've taken together through the landscapes of dream consciousness and parallel realities invites us to hold the mystery lightly, with both scientific curiosity and contemplative wonder. Whether these nocturnal adventures represent neurological housekeeping, symbolic quantum consciousness phenomena, or something entirely beyond our current understanding, They remain among the most intimate and personally transformative aspects of human experience. As you settle into the quiet hours ahead, perhaps you'll approach the threshold of sleep with fresh appreciation for the extraordinary nature of consciousness itself. The questions we've explored together don't demand immediate answers, but rather invite ongoing contemplation, gentle investigation, and open-hearted curiosity about the deepest mysteries of existence. Tonight, when your awareness begins to soften and drift toward the realm of dreams, remember that you carry within yourself the capacity for wonder that drives all genuine discovery. Whether you encounter familiar dream landscapes, venture into lucid territories, or simply rest in the peaceful embrace of deep sleep, each experience offers its own quiet gift to the ongoing dance between consciousness and cosmos. The universe continues to dream through countless aware beings across infinite possibilities, and you remain both witness and participant in this eternal unfolding. In dreams, in waking moments, in the gentle transitions between states of awareness, consciousness explores itself through the unique perspective that only you can offer. Rest well in the knowledge that mystery remains mysteriously beautiful, that questions can be more valuable than answers, and that the adventure of conscious existence continues with every breath, every heartbeat, every moment of aware presence in this vast and wonderful cosmos. Sweet dreams, fellow traveller. The infinite landscape of possibility awaits your next nocturnal journey. If you found yourself drawn into this contemplative exploration of consciousness and parallel realities, you might discover something equally fascinating about the nature of time itself. What if the past never ended, and you're still in it? This mind-bending journey into the persistence of temporal experience awaits when you're ready to dive deeper into the mysteries of memory, time, and the eternal present moment. As we venture deeper into this contemplative space where consciousness meets possibility, researchers around the world are beginning to map what they call the dream laboratory phenomenon. Unlike controlled scientific environments with their carefully measured variables, the dream laboratory operates according to principles that seem to transcend ordinary experimental limitations. In this nocturnal research space, consciousness appears to conduct its own investigations with identity, possibility, and experience. Each night becomes an opportunity to symbolically test hypotheses about alternate life paths, to run simulations of different choices, to explore emotional territories that might exist beyond the boundaries of waking experience. Some interpretations suggest that the dream laboratory operates through what researchers tentatively call consciousness bandwidth expansion. During sleep, when the filtering mechanisms of ordinary awareness are reduced, consciousness might theoretically access broader spectrums of information and possibility. This remains purely speculative, but the subjective reports from dreamers who work consciously with these states reveal remarkable consistencies. Take a moment to consider your own nocturnal laboratory. Have you noticed that certain dreams feel more like investigations than random mental activity? Dreams where you seem to be actively exploring questions about relationships, career paths, creative projects, or personal growth. These explorative dreams often possess a quality of conscious inquiry that extends beyond typical dream logic. The dream laboratory phenomenon appears to operate through what some researchers describe as possibility sampling. Rather than random neurological firing creating arbitrary dream content, consciousness might symbolically sample from the quantum field of infinite possibility, gathering data about alternate outcomes and different life configurations. Dr. Sarah Chen at the Institute for Consciousness Studies has documented cases where dreamers report conducting what feel like deliberate experiments within dream states. One subject described spending dream time testing different approaches to difficult conversations with family members, experiencing the emotional outcomes of various communication strategies before attempting similar conversations in waking life. Another fascinating dimension involves collaborative dream laboratories, where multiple dreamers report accessing shared experimental spaces. While this remains unproven and highly speculative, some research groups have documented instances where separate dreamers describe conducting complementary experiments in similar dream environments, as if consciousness can create shared research spaces that transcend individual minds. The results generated by these dream laboratories often possess practical applicability that extends far beyond entertainment or wish fulfillment. Dreamers frequently report gaining insights about creative projects, solutions to technical problems, or emotional strategies for navigating life challenges that prove remarkably effective when applied in waking contexts. Within the broader landscape of parallel universe dreams, researchers have identified a particularly intriguing phenomenon they call quantum mirroring, where dreamers encounter versions of themselves that seem to reflect different developmental paths and choice patterns. These alternate selves don't simply represent fantasy projections, but appear to possess autonomous characteristics and evolved perspectives that feel genuinely independent. The quantum mirror effect operates through what some interpretations suggest might be consciousness temporarily synchronizing with symbolic parallel versions of itself across dimensional boundaries. This remains entirely theoretical, but the reported experiences share remarkable consistency across different dreamers and cultural contexts. In quantum mirror dreams, alternate selves often possess skills, knowledge, or emotional capabilities that the dreamer hasn't developed in waking life. A person who struggles with public speaking might encounter a confident, articulate version of themselves. Someone who feels creatively blocked might meet an alternate self who has developed sophisticated, artistic abilities. These encounters feel less like wish fulfillment and more like consultations with genuinely developed aspects of potential. The teaching function of quantum mirror encounters provides another compelling dimension. Alternate selves in these dreams often share specific techniques, perspectives, or approaches that prove remarkably useful when applied in waking life. The dreamer doesn't just observe these alternate capabilities, but often receives detailed guidance about how to develop similar skills in their own reality. Dr. Michael Torres, who studies consciousness at the Quantum Mind Research Center, has collected hundreds of accounts where dreamers learned practical skills from alternate selves during sleep. Musicians report learning new compositions, writers describe receiving plot solutions for creative projects, and individuals working through personal challenges often gain specific strategies from more developed versions of themselves. The emotional healing potential of quantum mirror encounters extends beyond skill acquisition into profound therapeutic territory. Dreamers frequently report meeting versions of themselves who have successfully healed from traumas, resolved relationship conflicts, or achieved emotional states that feel impossibly distant in waking life. The emotional memory of being that healed self often provides a template for real-world healing work. Some research suggests that quantum mirror encounters might operate through symbolic resonance effects, where consciousness temporarily aligns with parallel versions that have developed along similar but more advanced trajectories. This could explain why the alternate selves encountered in dreams often feel authentically connected to the dreamer's core identity while possessing expanded capabilities. As you reflect on this possibility, notice whether you've experienced dreams where you encountered versions of yourself that felt both familiar and mysteriously developed. These quantum mirror encounters might represent more than imagination. They could be conceptual consultations with the infinite potential that exists within consciousness, exploring itself across multiple realities. Perhaps one of the most mysterious aspects of parallel universe dream research involves what scientists are beginning to call future memory archaeology, where dreamers report accessing detailed memories of events that haven't yet occurred in their timeline, but feel as vivid and emotionally authentic as any recollection from the past. This phenomenon challenges our basic assumptions about the linear nature of time and memory formation. Traditional neuroscience assumes that memory requires prior experience, but future memory archaeology suggests that consciousness might occasionally access symbolic information from potential future timelines through quantum field effects that remain poorly understood. Dr. Elena Vasquez at the Temporal Consciousness Lab has documented cases where dreamers report experiencing detailed future scenarios with such specificity and emotional authenticity that they feel like recovered memories rather than imagined possibilities. These experiences often include sensory details, emotional relationships, and environmental factors that later prove remarkably accurate when similar situations unfold in waking life. The key distinction between future memory archaeology and ordinary precognitive dreams lies in the subjective quality of the experience. Rather than symbolic or metaphorical content that requires interpretation, future memory dreams feel like direct experiential access to possible lived moments from potential timelines. The dreamer doesn't feel like they're receiving a vision of the future, but rather like they're remembering something that has already happened from their perspective, which remains a speculative interpretation rather than established fact. Some interpretations suggest that future memory archaeology might operate through quantum temporal effects, where consciousness occasionally symbolically accesses information from probable future configurations of reality. This remains purely speculative, but quantum physics does suggest that time might be more fluid and interconnected than our ordinary experience suggests. The therapeutic applications of future memory archaeology are beginning to attract attention from researchers studying anxiety, depression, and decision-making disorders. If consciousness can occasionally access symbolic positive future outcomes, these experiences might provide inspirational guidance during difficult periods. Conversely, if future memory reveals potential challenges, this information might help individuals prepare more effectively for upcoming transitions as a conceptual tool rather than a predictive mechanism. One particularly intriguing aspect involves what researchers call future memory convergence, where multiple dreamers report accessing similar future scenarios involving collective events like technological developments, social changes, or environmental shifts. While this could be explained by shared cultural expectations and pattern recognition, some cases involve such specific details that alternative, more symbolic interpretations become worth considering. The integration of future memory experiences requires developing what practitioners call temporal flexibility, the ability to work with information from potential futures without becoming attached to specific outcomes or paralyzed by multiple possibilities. This involves learning to use future memory as guidance rather than literal prediction, allowing the insights to inform present choices while remaining open to the dynamic nature of unfolding reality. Take a breath and consider whether you've experienced what felt like memories from your own future. These might not be psychic experiences, but rather consciousness exploring probable timelines and bringing back symbolic, emotional, and experiential data to inform your present choices and development. As individual explorations of parallel universe dreams continue to reveal new dimensions of possibility, researchers are beginning to investigate whether these experiences might connect not only to alternate versions of individual consciousness, but to parallel versions of human civilization itself. This collective dimension of parallel universe access opens profound questions about shared destiny, species evolution, and the interconnected nature of consciousness across multiple realities. Carl Jung's concept of the collective unconscious provides a foundational framework for understanding how individual dream experiences might tap into broader patterns of human experience and development. Some interpretations suggest that parallel universe dreams might access not only alternate personal timelines, but alternate collective timelines where humanity developed different cultures, technologies, or spiritual understandings. Dr. Amanda Foster at the Institute for Collective Consciousness Studies has collected accounts of dreams that seem to involve civilizations with advanced technologies that don't exist in our timeline, spiritual practices that feel both ancient and futuristic, or social structures that address current human challenges in innovative ways. These collective parallel dreams often provide insights that extend far beyond personal growth into visionary possibilities for species development. The shared symbols and archetypes that appear consistently across parallel universe dreams from different individuals might represent access points to collective parallel realities. When multiple dreamers independently report similar advanced technologies, healing modalities, or social innovations, some interpretations suggest this might indicate symbolic access to parallel human civilizations that developed along more advanced trajectories. Environmental and climate dreams provide another compelling dimension of collective parallel access. Some dreamers report experiencing versions of Earth where ecological balance was maintained, where sustainable technologies developed earlier, or where humanity achieved greater harmony with natural systems. These dreams often carry emotional qualities of hope and practical wisdom that feel like genuine experiences rather than wishful thinking. The healing potential of accessing parallel collective consciousness extends beyond individual therapy into possibilities for addressing systemic challenges facing humanity. If consciousness can access wisdom from symbolic parallel civilizations that successfully navigated similar challenges, this information might provide guidance for current global issues around sustainability, cooperation, and technological development. Indigenous wisdom traditions have long recognized that individual consciousness participates in broader collective fields that transcend ordinary time and space limitations. Modern parallel universe dream research might be rediscovering and scientifically investigating phenomena that traditional cultures understood through different conceptual frameworks. Some research groups are exploring whether collective parallel universe access might be enhanced through group dreaming practices, where multiple individuals attempt to access shared visions of alternate human developments. While this remains highly experimental and unproven, preliminary reports suggest that coordinated dream exploration might symbolically amplify access to collective parallel realities. As you contemplate this collective dimension, consider whether your own dreams sometimes feel like they extend beyond personal experience into broader visions of human possibility. These might represent consciousness participating in the ongoing exploration of potential futures and alternate developments available to our species across multiple timelines. As our understanding of potential parallel universe dream connections deepens, we encounter profound ethical questions about responsibility, influence, and the proper use of expanded consciousness capabilities. If dreams can provide symbolic access to alternate realities and parallel selves, what are our obligations regarding this information and these relationships? The question of consent becomes particularly complex when considering interactions with alternate versions of yourself and others across parallel realities. Some philosophical frameworks suggest that all parallel versions represent aspects of a unified multidimensional consciousness, making consent automatic. Others propose that each parallel self possesses autonomous awareness that deserves respect and consideration. Dr. Robert Singh, who directs the Ethics of Consciousness Expansion Institute, has developed preliminary guidelines for responsible engagement with parallel universe dream experiences. These include principles of non-interference, respect for parallel autonomy, and conscious integration practices that honour the wisdom gained while avoiding inappropriate attachment to inaccessible realities. The principle of non-interference suggests that consciousness should approach parallel reality access as observation and learning rather than manipulation or control. If dreams provide genuine access to alternate timelines, some interpretations suggest that attempts to directly influence parallel realities might create ethical complications or unintended consequences across dimensional boundaries, at least at the symbolic level. The therapeutic use of parallel universe dream information raises questions about the boundaries between personal insight and professional practice. Therapists working with clients who report parallel reality experiences must navigate between honouring the subjective meaning of these dreams while maintaining appropriate scientific and ethical standards. Privacy considerations extend beyond individual boundaries to encompass the experiences and relationships of alternate selves. If dreams provide access to symbolic parallel relationships, career experiences, or personal challenges, dreamers might need to develop ethical guidelines for how to use this information responsibly in their waking lives. The collective implications become even more complex when considering parallel access to alternate human civilizations or cultural developments. If consciousness can access wisdom from symbolic parallel societies that achieved greater sustainability, cooperation, or technological harmony, what are our responsibilities for applying this information to current global challenges? Some researchers propose that developing ethical frameworks for interdimensional consciousness represents one of humanity's next evolutionary challenges. As awareness expands to encompass broader ranges of possibility and connection, moral reasoning must evolve to address the complexities of multidimensional existence and responsibility. The integration of parallel universe insights requires what some ethicists call dimensional discernment, the ability to distinguish between information that serves growth and healing versus that which might create inappropriate detachment from present reality responsibilities or unrealistic expectations based on inaccessible, alternate outcomes. Consider how these ethical considerations might influence your own approach to dream experiences and consciousness exploration. The expansion of awareness brings both extraordinary opportunities and significant responsibilities for using expanded consciousness capabilities in ways that serve the highest good across multiple dimensions of existence. Looking toward the future of parallel universe dream research, emerging technologies promise to revolutionize our ability to investigate, enhance, and share these mysterious consciousness experiences. The convergence of neurotechnology, quantum computing, and artificial intelligence is creating unprecedented possibilities for systematic exploration of interdimensional awareness. Advanced brain-computer interfaces are becoming sophisticated enough to provide real-time monitoring and potential influence over specific neural networks associated with parallel universe dream experiences. Some research groups are developing what they call consciousness amplification systems that can detect optimal moments for interdimensional access and provide biofeedback to support sustained alternate reality awareness. Quantum sensing technologies, originally developed for detecting minute quantum field fluctuations in physics experiments, are being adapted for consciousness research applications. Some speculative research projects involve monitoring quantum field effects in the vicinity of sleeping dreamers to investigate whether successful parallel reality access correlates with measurable changes in local quantum environments. These remain theoretical and exploratory rather than established findings. The development of quantum consciousness interfaces represents perhaps the most ambitious frontier in this technological evolution. These theoretical devices would utilize quantum entanglement effects to potentially amplify natural quantum processes in the brain, theoretically enhancing consciousness sensitivity to interdimensional information. While such technologies remain largely conceptual, rapid advances in quantum computing suggest they might become feasible within decades, though no such capabilities currently exist. Virtual and augmented reality technologies are being adapted to simulate the disorienting spatial and temporal characteristics often reported in parallel universe dreams. These training environments help practitioners develop familiarity with navigating non-linear realities before attempting actual interdimensional exploration during sleep states. Artificial intelligence systems trained on extensive databases of parallel universe dream reports are beginning to identify patterns and characteristics that distinguish potential interdimensional experiences from ordinary dreams. These AI analysis tools might eventually provide conceptual feedback about the nature of dream experiences, helping researchers and practitioners develop greater discernment. The integration of blockchain and distributed computing technologies offers possibilities for creating secure, anonymous databases where individuals can contribute dream experiences for large-scale analysis while maintaining privacy. These collective research networks might reveal global patterns in parallel universe access that individual studies cannot detect. Wearable neurotechnology continues to advance toward consumer-accessible devices that could monitor sleep states and provide alerts when optimal conditions for parallel universe dreaming occur. Future sleep tracking might include specific detection of symbolic interdimensional access states, allowing for more systematic personal research into consciousness exploration. As you consider these technological possibilities, notice how they might democratize access to expanded consciousness states that were previously available only to advanced practitioners. The tools being developed could provide support for anyone interested in exploring the frontiers of awareness and interdimensional connection. Within the realm of parallel universe dream experiences, Many individuals report encountering music, sounds, and vibrational phenomena that seem to originate from alternate realities. This acoustic dimension of interdimensional awareness provides another fascinating avenue for understanding how consciousness might access symbolic information from parallel timelines. The music experienced in parallel universe dreams often possesses qualities that distinguish it from both ordinary dream sounds and familiar waking music. Dreamers frequently describe compositions with harmonic structures, instrumental combinations, or emotional resonances that feel both foreign and hauntingly beautiful. These musical experiences often prove memorable long after waking, unlike typical dream content that fades quickly. Dr. Jennifer Walsh, a neuromusicologist studying consciousness and sound, has documented cases where dreamers report learning complete musical compositions during parallel universe dreams. Some musicians have successfully transcribed and performed these dream-derived pieces, discovering musical patterns and structures that feel innovative yet somehow familiar. The emotional impact of parallel universe music extends beyond aesthetic appreciation into profound therapeutic territory. Many dreamers report that hearing music from alternate realities provides emotional healing, creative inspiration, or symbolic spiritual insight that influences their waking life for months or years. The vibrational quality of this music seems to resonate at levels deeper than ordinary auditory experience. Some interpretations suggest that sound and vibration might serve as particularly effective carriers of symbolic interdimensional information. If parallel realities exist at different vibrational frequencies, music might provide a natural bridge between dimensional states, allowing consciousness to access acoustic information from alternate timelines in a metaphorical sense. The phenomenon of vibrational memory appears frequently in parallel universe dream reports, where individuals experience not just hearing music, but feeling it as full-body resonance that seems to activate cellular or quantum-level memories. These experiences often trigger profound emotional releases or sudden insights about life direction and purpose, interpreted symbolically rather than literally. Whether these nocturnal journeys represent quantum consciousness phenomena, neurological processing, or something entirely beyond our current understanding, they invite us to approach the mystery of awareness with both scientific curiosity and contemplative wonder. The questions we've explored together don't demand immediate answers, but rather encourage us to remain open to possibilities that stretch beyond the boundaries of conventional thinking. Tonight, when you drift towards sleep, perhaps you'll carry with you a sense of wonder about the extraordinary nature of consciousness itself. Sweet dreams, fellow traveller, and remember that the universe continues to dream through you in ways we're only beginning to understand.